This right here is the first brand new 3D device of 2026 with a glasses-free 3D display, 4K 14-inch monitor from Owl3D, and it's got some really cool features, but check out what is happening on the screen right now. When I look at this, this is a frame from a YouTube video that I could play right now, but to make it more obvious, I'm just going to make it full screen. But look at this. Look at what's happening right now. This is taking an image that I have on my desktop and converting it into 3D in real time, but on top of that, it's making this actual parallax effect happen before my eyes. So I can move from different perspectives and angles, and it feels so immersive because it's in 3D to me, like actual glasses-free 3D, but at the same time, it's shifting perspective depending on where I'm viewing it from. And of course it looks worse through the cameras that I'm capturing this video with because it's not positioned exactly where my eyes are. To me, it looks so real and so immersive. And it's one of the coolest things that I've ever seen happen on a glasses-free 3D display. But in this video, we're gonna cover everything I can think of about the Owl3D Shift, this really cool glasses-free 3D monitor, which is going to be available on Kickstarter starting February 24th. So if you're interested in that, the link is going to be in the description and the comments, and you can check that out now or at the end of the video to reserve one for yourself, and you can get the best deals if you do that early. But we're going to cover all the different features that the Owl3D software supports, including details about this parallax effect, the ways you can use it, but also the quality of the 3D display and how it compares to other monitors and devices. But I do want to double emphasize how cool this is, because it's not just working for this one single YouTube video here, and it didn't take time to process this. It's happening in real time, and if I minimize this video, it's doing it to my desktop, for example. My desktop is being converted into 3D in real time with a parallax effect. For one thing, all of this is running on Owl3D software, which has been around for a few years now, and it's mainly focused on 2D to 3D conversion, which is what we're doing here, just a more advanced version of that. It uses the same software. Their software is now just compatible with this brand new monitor. But if we take a step back and look at this just as a 3D monitor, there are a couple things that we want to assess. How does it look in 2D? How's the resolution, etc.? Well, here it is in 2D, just the desktop, and you can see if I hold it up to you like this, the text is perfectly readable. There is no visible degradation in 2D. It looks totally fine as a simple monitor in 2D. Great that there's no problem with the 2D, but how does it look in 3D? Well, an easy way to assess that is to view some high quality 3D images. And yes, it does support side-by-side 3D. Let me show you how that works really quick. In their software, when you launch it, it starts on the default mode, which is live 3D, the real-time conversion. And you click start and it'll start converting everything on the screen into 3D. But if you select the bottom option, weave only is what it's called right now, and hit start, then it'll just start rendering everything on the screen, assuming it is side by side. And this is what we get. I've tested out a bunch of stuff in 3D on this monitor already, and the 3D quality is really nice actually. I think you should be able to see that it looks plenty bright and it's colorful. It's high resolution in 3D. But just for a bit of perspective, I have the Red Magic tablet here, which is considered to be one of the best 3D displays that's available to us right now as consumers. And if we look at the same image on the Red Magic and compare it to the Owl3D Shift, you can see that it's actually pretty close. In terms of resolution, I would say that the Owl3D Shift is even a little bit higher. It just looks a bit sharper to me with the details in 3D. Now, the colors are not quite as vibrant as the Red Magic, and the level of crosstalk performance on the Owl3D Shift is also fairly solid. It's not as good as the ultra low crosstalk on the Samsung Odyssey or the Red Magic, but it's really not half bad. So in all the areas that really matter, the depth, pop out, crosstalk, resolution, brightness, the colors of the display, overall the Owl3D Shift is doing a really nice job. The one thing that stands out to me a little bit, if I had to mention something, is this sort of faint feeling, like it feels a little bit feeble. I've mentioned this sort of sensation in previous videos with certain displays. This one is not nearly as severe as those, but I do feel it a little bit. It doesn't feel quite as solid as a 3D image as the highest quality 3D displays do. But this one, price point is a complete bargain at $399. As a high resolution 3D monitor, it's way less expensive than the other options, and overall it's still really nice with resolution that's probably higher than the other ones in 3D. To me, isn't that big of a deal, but I do notice it. Just like with the perspective mode that I showed you at the beginning, all the 3D that happens on this monitor is eye tracked. So as I move, it's aiming the 3D directly at my eyes, so no matter where I view it from, what angle angle I view it from, I'm always going to be seeing the image in 3D correctly. And of course that has a limit to the range. If I go beyond this angle, then it cuts off. And I think it's a little bit narrower in terms of the total supported range, at least right now, compared to the best monitors with eye tracking available. But I think this can be improved with software. This is all just very early software for Owl3D right now. And this version of the Owl3D Shift is also a prototype unit, assembled pretty much by hand. You know, you can see the glue holding the display in place around the edges here. When the units actually ship after the Kickstarter ends and it's delivered to people, it's not going to be like this. It will be more refined in terms of the hardware and software. But right now, as it stands at a very early stage, it's still really nice. And the great thing about it so far is that nothing feels broken about it. It's been a ton of fun to use so far, and I know it's only going to get better from here. So I could just flip through some 3D images and they all look really high quality. Anything that you have full screen will just be rendered in 3D. So you could also game in 3D. I have a game running in side-by-side 3D now, so I can see the game as I play it in 3D because I'm using the weaving only mode, and it looks really awesome. I can just launch a game I want to play in 3D in full screen and then just play, and it feels really nice. The game looks so sharp in 3D. My opponent is just going to start fighting without me, but I just want you to see how sharp and clear this looks in 3D as you're gaming. Any game that you have in your library that you can display side by side in 3D is going to work on this monitor. And as you can see here, it looks really nice. The best thing about it is how high resolution it is. So if you like 3D gaming, this is probably going to be one of the coolest ways to do it. Next, I want to jump back to the real-time 3D conversion mode. I just want to show you one of the things that I tried that just hit me because it felt the most immersive to me. What I did was I pulled up Google Maps. This isn't the first time we've done a demo like this on my channel, but what's different this time is that you can hit start with the live 3D and then it'll just turn this Google Maps. I just dropped myself to some random spot in Chile in South America, and when you hit the live button, it turns into glasses free 3D. I can look around and it's all in 3D and it looks very convincing. So this is super cool, but what really blew me away is when I went into the options here and turned on the head parallax mode, it starts to feel like I'm actually having a immersive experience. We use that term a lot, but 3D in general is a little bit weird because you're always getting a static perspective. It feels like there's depth and substance to it, but you don't get the shift that you have in real life when you move around and view stuff. In real life, we see things in 3D, but they're not frozen in perspective. We can look around them. And I had this moment with the Vision Pro when I tried spatial scenes for the first time, which takes a photo, makes it 3D, but adds perspective when you look around it. That's what Owl3D has done here. And it feels so convincing because I've never been to this place before and I've never looked down this street. It almost starts to trick my brain into thinking like I'm sort of there because things are in 3D, but they're also shifting perspective. Now, a couple things that make it imperfect, whether you're looking at Google Maps or you're looking at some picture you've pulled up, the things that can affect the immersion are the connection between the eye tracking and the 3D rendering. It's not perfect yet, but how that manifests in your experience when you're using a 3D monitor like this is that you'll see some disconnect. It's like the 3D isn't quite keeping up with your eyes, and that will break the illusion. So if I move too quickly, it starts to get jittery, and then I will see a little bit of discoloration or a little bit of double imaging. It's trying to render the image on the screen in a way that aims it directly at my eyes all the time. But if I'm moving constantly, it's not able to keep up 100%. But I'm hopeful that Owl3D will really work hard on this area to make it as perfect as possible so that this immersion just feels completely solid. And don't get me wrong, it's still, as I said, is incredibly impressive and exciting to use. If I move my head slowly though, the illusion holds a lot better. But the cool thing is the moment you stop, it recovers instantly and you just feel like you're brought right back into that feeling. I feel like for the first time in a while, I'm having an immersive experience that feels like it's actually stepped up the immersion in 3D. It feels closer to what you get in VR. None of this stuff was built in 3D, like VR games and VR landscapes are designed from the ground up in 3D. This was just a 2D image on Google Maps, and it's being transformed into this immersive experience in real time. One more cool thing about it is that there's levels of customization. You can adjust things like the sensitivity of this effect. So if I make it more sensitive, it'll just make the motion parallax stronger. It becomes sort of like a 3D mesh model almost as you move, because you can really see the scene sort of starting to break down if you push it too far, but at the same time it's cool because you can set it so that you have the largest possible range of 3D perspective to match whatever you're trying to view. But you can sort of think of these settings as, if I move, how strong of a shift is applied to the image. If you set that to weak, then you can move a lot and the image will only shift a little bit. If you set it to strong, then you can move a little bit and the image will just shift a lot. You can adjust how sensitive it is to vertical motion and horizontal motion separately. So there's also this level of customization to it. And I don't know if I made that clear, but it does adjust the perspective up and down too. So it's not just side to side, it's literally in any direction. Maybe we can take a quick look at the hardware. This is a close-up of the monitor. Again, this is a prototype. It's going to look a little bit more refined when it actually launches, but the Owl3D logo on this plastic case. This thing also sort of serves as a handy little stand because you can just set it down on your table or desk and the monitor will be propped up like this. But it also folds down, so when you're done with it, you can just collapse it like this and tuck it away somewhere pretty easily. So it's fairly portable and easy to use and store because you can fold it down like that. And on the back side, we have multiple ports. This one in the middle is for the power cord. This one here is USB-C to USB-C, which is delivering the video signal. And then for communication between the computer software and the monitor with just regular USB to USB. I don't think too much about that is going to change for the final product, but it doesn't really matter because it's already a pretty simple setup. It doesn't take up that much space. If I fold it down on my desk right here, you can see. So that's my first impressions of the Owl3D Shift. I've been excited to get my hands on this one ever since they first announced it, because Owl3D has done a killer job with their 3D software over the years. Pace and the quality of the updates they put out just give a lot of confidence to users like me that they're going to keep doing a good job on all the stuff that they do in the future. And this is just another example of that. So there are never guarantees with Kickstarter and, you know, the unpredictability of the world and what happens with hardware availability and prices and all that stuff. But with Owl3D as a company, they've always shown a really strong focus on the user experience, taking user feedback and actually implementing it and doing that quickly, iterating fast. They're a company that I respect and make cool products that I like to use. So, you know, I really don't have any hesitation in recommending their very first hardware product that I'm sure they worked super hard to design and just make this happen. After I've explored more things that you can do with this monitor, or if Owl3D releases updates during the Kickstarter campaign, I might make another video covering more details on it, but this should give you a pretty good overview of what the Owl3D Shift can do and the quality of the product in terms of the 3D display. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm sure Owl3D will probably hop over to the channel and watch the video and respond to your guys' questions if you have any, so don't hesitate to write them. You can also join their Discord. They're always very active there and happy to respond to people's questions. I hope you liked the video. This was a fun one to make, and I'm looking forward to making, you know, more stuff related to this monitor as it evolves as a product. Got some more cool stuff coming soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.